Hi there, it's Stephanie, one of your Go Natural English teachers, and I'm here to help you sound more like a native speaker. Today I'm going to talk to you about ways that you can sound more informal, which will actually help you in your everyday communication. So you might be wondering, why is it sometimes that people give me kind of an odd look, or maybe they laugh a little bit when I have good, correct, formal English? Okay, but before I get into that, I want to tell you about a free sample course that you can take at GoNaturalEnglish.com. If you haven't seen it yet, this is a great sample course for you to check out. It's called 7 Steps to Fluency. So go to GoNaturalEnglish.com/7steps. Okay, the first thing that you can do to sound a little bit more informal when you're speaking in your everyday language is to use contractions, especially with the helping verbs like have or the be verbs is, am, are. So for example, I hear students saying all the time, I am from Saudi Arabia, let's just say. Instead of saying I am, you should say I'm. So use the contraction. I'm from Saudi Arabia. And for example, also with the modal expression had better, instead of saying I had better wear my jacket today because it's cold outside, you should say I'd better wear my jacket today because it's cold outside. Also with could have, like when we're talking about a past regret, like you could say I could have worn my jacket, or you could say I should have worn my jacket. Instead of saying should have, I should have worn my jacket, use the contraction should have. Sometimes it even sounds like shoulda. I should have worn my jacket because it was really cold this morning. So use contractions more when you're speaking in everyday English. This will make you sound more like a native speaker. Okay, the second way that you can avoid sounding too formal in your speaking is to avoid these really formal kind of British sounding grammar phrases, or grammar words. For example, shall. I hear international students using shall all the time, and to me this sounds so funny because I never say shall. You can use it instead of, for example, will. So you could say I will go to the movies with you, but actually we say I'll go to the movies with you. But sometimes I hear students say, I shall go to the movies with you. So sometimes this makes me think they should have a little British accent. I shall. Yes, I shall go to the movies with you, darling. All right, so avoid the word shall in American English. We really just don't use it anymore. And also, we oftentimes teach children to be super polite when they're younger. So like, for example, with elementary school students, we tell our kids to say, may I go to the bathroom? Okay, so this is good for kids, right? You really want them to be super polite. However, when you're an adult, it's kind of strange to say, may I? It's really like kind of British, actually. It's kind of funny for me. Or it kind of sounds like you are like a child, like you're trying to show so much respect that it sounds kind of funny. I know it's weird, but it's not used very often, I think, for adults. So instead of saying, may I go to the bathroom or may I use the restroom, you could just say, where's your restroom? Is it okay if I use your bathroom? Or if you're in a restaurant, you can just say, please tell me where the restroom is. So you still want to be polite, right? But you don't have to say, may I? This is like really asking for permission instead of like asking, where's the bathroom? Okay, and then the last thing is talking about, just have to check my notes here. Oh yeah, another common phrase for that sounds really British to me or really formal is to whom. So for example, a very formal question with to whom might be, to whom am I speaking? This sounds really formal and kind of funny to me. I just never say that. I would never say, to whom am I speaking? Again, this sounds kind of British. So instead of saying to whom, I would say, who am I speaking with? Or who is this? Something like that, like if you're on the phone, right? You don't know who it is. Instead of saying, to whom am I speaking? I would say, who is this? Or who's on the line, right? Something like that. Okay, so really think hard about the difference between speaking and writing. There's a big difference. So we're oftentimes much more formal. We don't use contractions as much when we're writing. Okay, one last piece of advice I want to give you. You might notice that with the younger generation, especially between like teens and 40s maybe, you'll notice that we use these fillers. We use like, you know, and oh man. So if you would like to get some more examples of this being used, you can actually listen to Gabby and Hale in the podcast, and you'll hear examples of this. So they'll say something like I was, you know, it was like I was so excited about like this experience that I like had, and it was, you know, it was really cool. And then they might answer, oh man, that's so cool. So there's lots of common fillers, we call them, when you are trying to tell a story or something. And like, you know, and oh man are really common. All right, so I hope this helped. I hope you can try to sound a little bit more fluent with your difference between formal and informal English. And don't forget to check out our website. You can also check out our course called Fluent Communication. This is a great course that can really help you with your fluency. All right, we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.